Many sectors are growing because of the pandemic, namely healthcare, pharmaceuticals. Those are the obvious ones. But when you think about it, those that create toilet paper or those that manufacture ventilators, and then, of course, anybody that's doing electronic videos, so like Zoom and Google and Facebook and LinkedIn, those companies are definitely growing through the roof right now because of their platform. And plus, there are many people that are starting businesses right now, and that's all because of the pandemic.
And we know that some sectors, obviously like the tech sector, already sort of lend themselves more easily to this sort of remote hiring practices. I want to talk about something that always tends to come up, and this is the employee turnover rate. Especially now, what measures are companies taking, not just to secure that their team stays highly effective, but also to really keep up morale and engagement?
So right now, because everyone's at home, it's very difficult to keep up engagement. And most companies, the one that I'm doing some consulting for right now, we're doing Zoom meetings every week, every Thursday. And I believe if companies continue to do Zoom meetings where everyone's in the Zoom meeting, they can keep up with engagement. And you can't really do anything else because nobody's in the office. But I guess companies could send you things in the mail to keep you engaged, but I don't think they are. I think it's really all meetings on Zoom and keeping people involved with the company. You can still have conference calls, of course. I mean, that's what we used to do. But you have to do something to keep people engaged. You really have to, because otherwise you're by yourself, and I feel like you're on an island. But the truth is that if you keep them engaged, they'll be happy employees, for sure.
Now, I want to look at a recent PricewaterhouseCoopers study that showed that 26% of chief finance officers are now concerned about losing productivity due to remote work versus 63% when the pandemic first kicked off. So we've seen this real shift in attitudes. And for most workers, about 2/3, according to Skillcast, actually favor some sort of remote work policy. But how do you see remote hiring affecting things like productivity levels and a company's bottom line now versus, say, the longer term?
So it's interesting because back then, most companies that I knew felt that people working from home were not very productive. But I believe now most people realize that people can actually be productive at home. And because of that, they're probably, when they do go back to work, they're probably going to allow people to work from home. And that's a great thing because most people actually want to work from home. Now, I don't think they're going to let people work from home every day, but even if they let people to work from home 1 or 2 days a week, that's going to make an employee happy. And when happy people exist, they are more productive, I believe. And they value the company more. Yeah.
And what about some of these recruiting businesses and these headhunters? How are they faring at this time?
So it depends on the headhunter and the recruiter. Some companies are busier than ever somehow. I don't really understand that, but it just doesn't make sense because there's so many people that are unemployed right now. So it feels like there should be nobody hiring. But there are people hiring, and these recruiters figured out which companies are hiring, and so they reached out to those companies, and they're doing well because they figured it out. Yeah, they're doing well.
Now, I want to turn more so to job seekers. Obviously, without the traditional in-person meeting, for some people, in-person, their personality shines. People can get a real sense of their mannerisms. If you're a hiring manager, how can candidates really give you a better sense of who they are remotely or from online?
Well, on Zoom, you can definitely see a person's personality. You can see their tone of voice, hear their tone of voice. You can see their expression. You can see their body language. And I believe you can actually figure out whether someone will be a good employee. Now, at the end of the day, we might bring somebody in for a final interview live. That could happen. But at least we can take care of the first few steps online. And we can see it. Now, there are other people that are doing videos and all kinds of different things for employers. So people are recording videos. I've seen some really great videos of job seekers, and that's one way to impress an employer that you might not have done before. You might have been afraid to do that. I think the best thing that's happening right now is that older people like me, people over 40, are getting used to video, and they're getting more into technology, and that's going to help them when they get back to work.
And just quickly, any major changes in the job market that new hires or job seekers should really keep in mind at the moment?
Well, it's really about networking, but it's always been about networking. I wouldn't say that it's a change. It's about going out and finding companies that you want to work for and reaching out and not being afraid to reach out. Also, starting new businesses, that's another great thing that people are doing, and finding other part-time jobs that you might be interested in. Just try something new. This is the time to try something new if you're unemployed. It's a great idea right now.